King of Charles here, today we're judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my the most powerful ABB team in the Kanto Cup. So this team is really unique. I don't think, with the existence of Machamire, I don't know if ice water tanks work, but this features Nidoqueen, Lapras, and Dewgong. You can use Stone Edge or Earth Power. In my opinion, I like Earth Power better just because of the fact that I'm more used to using it, and I've seen more Nidoqueens than God knows what, rather than going into Pidgeot, etc. So Earth Power and Nidoqueen, in my opinion, is better. Both work, but yes, I do like it. In this case, you kind of have a double safe switch. You could use Lapras, you could use Dewgong. In my opinion, you can use both. Either one works. But generally, I will use Lapras as my safe switch for this team. So, this team is very, very powerful. And if for some odd reason, you could do a lot of fanciness with it. You're going to see me be really fancy in finding win conditions for this team. That or sacking or just absolutely obliterating my opponent. But in my opinion, it is statistically is the most powerful ABB team. I believe it was like in top 6 in the listings. And it's not, well, it's unique for the fact that you have 2 Pokemon weak to fighting in the back. You have 1 Pokemon that covers your back row. That's how ABB works. That or you do some fancy draw out stats, which I don't like doing in general, because when you draw something out, if they don't have what you think they have, you're probably going to die. But anyways, as you see here, this is the most powerful ABB team. But before we get started, this is the top and the best ABB team. But before we get started, this is my therapist mental health tip for the day. My therapist mental tip for the day is going to be to tell you, you don't have to be good at Pokemon Go PvP, nor do you have to play it. You see, there's a lot of dishonesty on, I think I literally woke up this morning, went to the bathroom, was getting ready for my run, and then I saw an article about, I saw a post on Twitter about the game changing, and there's this is the way you should change, this is the way, something's wrong with the game right now, or they changed something to where charge moves take priority over fast moves, which is very weird, because I don't believe at any given time where that actually mattered, where charge moves take priority over fast moves. If they did it to fix sneaking in, guess what? You're gonna see me lag a lot in here, and I don't think it's fixed. But yeah, you don't have to play Pogo PvP. A lot of dishonest content creators will do anything in their power to sell Pokemon Go PvP to you. They will literally tell you it's the greatest game of all time and that you can make a living or a career off of it. I have been here for 5 years. That's a very long time on the Pokemon Go content creation verse. And never have I seen one person never have I seen one average Joe person, Pokemon Go PvP, get signed to a 6-figure contract or something like that, like FaZe or Energy or 100 Thieves, the biggest esports organizations in the world. Not one person has been signed to it, nor would they ever look at Pokemon Go. I have a friend in Energy. There's no way I would get a meeting with that CEO to try to promote Pokemon Go. It's just we're not worth the money, and we're not that we don't have the potential. That's what they honestly told me, and I'm honest in my assessment as well. But like I said, most content creators will be dishonest with you. Pokemon Go PvP is an absolute wreck right now, and there's no way it's ever going to make that echelon because it's been too long. In the 5 years I have streamed, I have only seen a small pool of people benefit. You can't have it that way. You can't have it where a small pool of benefit and the rest of y'all, including me, are just left out of there just so that they can become full-time content creators and just do their own thing and get on their knees and suck off Niantic so that Niantic can keep making them money and making them making them have a day job other than a content creator. Because seriously, that's what it is. There's nothing wrong with being a content creator, but at this point, with Pokemon Go, it benefits the few and screws the many. That's a quote I like using. So you don't have to play PvP, you don't have to play Go Battle League. If you don't like it and the lag is really pissing you off and emotionally really affecting you, play another game. Play another game, get good at another game. Hell, you might get good enough to where you can compete and get that 6-figure esport contract, or even just a grand, or even $1,000. This is coming from someone that has a very honest CEO and questions everything. I was in the military. I served 7 years. I question everything. Something has potential, I will look at it. I'm a logistics manager too, so I have to look ahead on things in the future. That's why I had to do the military. I can see a future where Pokemon Go PvP just isn't as bright as everyone's selling it to be. And so, with that being said, you don't have to play Pokemon PvP. That is my long therapist mental health tip for you today, because I don't want y'all to go be anxious or just have this game ruin your day. There are better things out there. There are better games out there, and you don't have to play it. And without further ado, this is the most powerful ABB team, and the top and the best one for the Kanto Cup. Alright, here are the battles. This ABB team is really weird because of the way you have to like move stuff around, but it can still work. So we got Nidoqueen onto Machamp. This is great for us because we win the lead. Nidoqueen resists everything Machamp has to throw at you, Scotch Chop, and Rock Slide. Unless they're carrying Payback, which isn't really unlikely. As you see, they switch into Alolan Marowak. We switch in really fast into Lapras. You could send in Dewgong too in this instance. I just like sending in Lapras because it's faster to get to Surf. And as you see here, for some weird reason, the animation doesn't, I don't even get the start animation when it goes. It's just like, okay, here, start typing your bubbles. For those of you that are trying to playing right now, it's like, I'm not sure for how it is a lot for some people, but like, I'm lagging pretty hard. Mind you, I got really good internet too. Really good internet. So I'm going to double Surf here. My opponent's going to either choose to let go or they're going to win Switch, which doesn't really matter in my opinion. So as you see, they decide to let their Marowak go. They're probably going to send in Machamp to farm, and here we go. There's Machamp. So we're going to send back in Nidoqueen, and then we got Dewgong in the back, which is pretty substandard. I'm going to fire Poison Fang here just because since they swapped out, I want to lock them into a debuff, and then I want to send in Dewgong so Dewgong can farm. Because we're facing a Shadow Hypno here, my idea in this scenario is maybe I'm able to farm down this Hypno all the way since it's debuff and it's Shadow. This is just being really creative and fancy. I already know the Machamp has a bazillion energy on it, so what I want to do is essentially lock it down to where it can't really do any damage against Shadow Nidoqueen. I'm going to shield this one, and then I'm going to have 2 Icy Winds back to back to throw at that Machamp. At that point, it will very likely be game, because that Machamp won't be able to take out Shadow Nidoqueen no matter what it tries to do. At -2, it's very difficult to come back. As you see, I'm going to fire the first one, and then I'm going to fire the second Icy Wind so that it goes through, and we break the second shield. Thankfully, this isn't going to end as bad as the Game of Thrones finale, which is really, really good. Actually, no, it's freaking terrible. Don't even mind you. My opponent elects not the shield. It doesn't really matter anyways, because all I'm going to do is I'm just going to Poison Fang down. As you see here, we still have a shield, but even then, a Cross Chop or Rock Slide won't kill our Nidoqueen, especially with a -2 Machamp. As you see, those counters aren't chunking super hard because of the fact it's debuffed ×2. And that's GG's. So we actually eviscerate and annihilate our opponent, and that's game. Speaking of ice, like double ice water tanks are really good. It's super tanky, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's kind of, you know, if for those of you that play Blizzard, Overwatch 2 doesn't feature tanks, which is kind of weird, but as you see here, we have Sandslash onto our Nidoqueen. We're going to swap out because this is a terrible matchup. Our opponent switches in very late, which is actually really great for us because the fact that matter is we're able to get the Skull Bash really, really early, which makes me very, very happy because this means we're going to be able to hit Skull Bash and then we're going to take less damage, and our opponent even eats the Skull Bash, which is something you don't want to do. I'm not sure why I got an Ice Shard through. They probably just fired late. Then again, fast moves are very, very inconsistent right now. But it's like an AOL update. You know what I mean? Back in the day, computers updated very, very slowly. You know, it's very, very weird. But nowadays, things are really, really fast. Unfortunately, no, wait, that's right. Go Battle League is like a toaster. Toaster, well, not really like a toaster. You know what? A toaster works 100% of the time. Go Battle League doesn't. I got 2 Ice Shards worked through, and I'm still scratching my head as how the heck that even worked. And now we're able to farm down this Hypno and have a Surf queued for this Alolan Sandslash in the back. And this is terrible for my opponent because now not only do I win back Switch, but I get to realign you against Dewgong. I'm going to give up Switch and send in Dewgong anyways. I predict my opponent doesn't really have anything for Dewgong. And I still have a shield. So as you see, I'm going to shield this. My opponent Ice Punches, which I'm like scratching my head about because I'm like, why would you Ice Punch me? So I'm going to go ahead and build to Water Pulse. My opponent might not have they probably have Blizzard, which is why they're Ice Punching me to death. In my opinion, Gyro Ball or Bulldoze works better, arguably Bulldoze, because you get locked into Dewgong or Lapras like this, and then you're just stuck. Water Pulse is going to go through. This is going to almost take out the Alolan Sandslash, and all I have to do is farm it down. So now we're down shields, and we get a Slowbro in the back. So here's what's bad about this. Galarian Slowbro has Confusion, so the only win condition I really have in this scenario, here's what I should have done. As you see, I should have sacked at this point. That's kind of a misplay, but because I still have a fully healthy Nidoqueen, that's perfectly fine. What I want to do is put my opponent into desperation mode. So I'm gonna send in Nidoqueen, but watch what's gonna happen. So as you see, I'm not tapping directly on Poison Fang. I tap it now so I can break a shield and slow my opponent down. But at the same time, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm setting up the sack. I want to put them desperate to where like, oh my gosh, I'm debuffed. And then I'm going to sack. Bam. I am so good. We get the sack swapping. I'm so good at this dang game. We sacrifice the Lapras to the gods. And then I should just be able to Poison Fang down for the victory. In my opinion, for me, this is a misplay because I should have sacked before on Dewgong. Had I sacked before, I would have been able to have Dewgong with an Icy Wind, and then I would have put my opponent on Ice Skates. But this is just a better play just because I don't get to farm down. They don't get to farm down Dewgong, and one second would have wiped out Shadow Nidoqueen. Next up, we got Nidoqueen onto Hypno. This is a terrible lead again. Mad GG's to my opponent from last time, but this time we're going to get GG's if I don't switch out really quickly. So I switch out again, and now our opponent elects to stay in, which is actually pretty great for us. So in this instance, you can choose to fire Skull Bash. You're locked in anyways. It's really up to you. I found usually that Hypnos will shield the first Skull Bash, so that's really, really rough. But we're going to fire Skull Bash again. Skull Bash gives you that +1, plus the IVs on my Lapras are absolutely terrible. But that's okay. Skull Bash goes through and they shield. This is the worst case scenario for you. If you get locked into a Hypno matchup, if they do manage to shield Skull Bash, it's going to be, again, it's going to be super rough. Thunder Punch goes through. It's going to hit you a lot for big damage, but I'm going to fire this Surf. I fired on the wrong interval, misplay on my part, and then the Surf goes through. So, Surf goes through, water bending like Tanjiro, and here I am breathing like... They send in Nidoqueen really late. That's probably the wrong... It's a really long interval, and I don't get why you would give up Switch this late in the game. We're going to get Surf off. I'm going to send in Dewgong. I don't want them to farm down Lapras, and they're down shields anyways. So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to get some extra Ice Shards here, and then I should be able to take out my opponent. Here's the problem, though. So, yeah, we have shield advantage, etc., but that Hypno is still loaded. So we got loaded Hypno, and we still got something in the back. I'm debuffed because my Dewgong's debuff -1. So it ain't over yet. It's far from over, actually. Even though I had the shields, it's still really, really rough. I know you got to do it. What do you got? Oh, it's a Marowak. And this is actually pretty terrible. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fire the Dark Pulse. I'm going to fire the Water Pulse. And then I'm going to have to finesse the unholy crap out of this matchup. I shield here because I believe it's like a Shadow Bone, and it is not a Shadow Bone. It's a freaking Bone Club. So I got you baited. They sent in the lure, and I got you baited. And I'm like a fish out of water. So as you see here, I don't swap out, they send in Hypno. I actually wanted this to happen. I wanted Hypno to drain its energy because what I want to do is I want to send in Nidoqueen and I want to farm. Because this is carrying Thunder Punch, I don't believe they'll either one get to another Thunder Punch and I get farm. So then after that, they send in a low Marowak. This is just a Bone Club. Bone Club will not kill. I can get to an Earth Power and that's GG's. Bone Club goes through. I'm mashing this Earth Power like no tomorrow and that's game. Basically, my opponent kind of screwed up their own win condition because I wanted farm. Because they gave me farm and because Go Battlelag is taking my soul right now for some odd reason and won't let me play this game and let me go through, that's GG's. I'm not sure about you, but again, I'm lagging like a mother right now. So I'm surprised I could even do this shot, guys, because a lot of things went wrong, so I lost a lot of my sets yesterday due to lag. It was really ridiculous. You know, this game is just like, you know, like, everyone just trying to shove their throat, like, all of the PvP community that is toxic positive as heck, and refuses to let people just leave the game because it's really that bad. We get another Hypno matchup, and my brain is like, again? So this time I play it differently. So there's two ways you can play. One, you can swap out the Lapras right away and hope they stay. Two, you could get energy on Poison Fang and then choose to send in Lapras. That's a second way you can play this matchup. I'm going to keep Ice Sharding until I get to a little bit of Skull Bash and I'm gonna fire Surf. So this Surf should be able to take shields, or I'm gonna do chip damage. In this case, I do chip, and then I'm going to keep trying to Surf down. This is kind of terrible because we're like, okay, what do we do? So I'm going to shield one Thunder Punch here. I don't want to go down exactly. We're at the point where we can actually farm down this Hypno if I wanted to, or I can shoot this second Surf, take it to the one shield. We have that energy banked on that Nidoqueen, so we're doing good here. I'm going to keep trying to Ice Shard down. This time I'm going to let go of Lapras. There's no reason to keep the energy here. Lapras is more of a liability. They could possibly farm me down. So I'm going to send in Nidoqueen. You're like, what the heck, King of Tournaments? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Well, I know what I'm doing. My idea here is to double up on Poison Fang, and I do. So I double up on Poison Fang, and they send in their own Nidoqueen. Because I have a bazillion energy, they will likely shield this. If they don't, they're gods. And they don't. And I couldn't tell if they shielded or not. They didn't shield it. So I'm going to fire the second Poison Fang, hopefully grab the second shield, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send in, I'm going to Earth Power. We already have a Dugong for good. Well, I'm not going to Earth Power here. I catch the move. Yeah, I catch it. This is being really, really fancy, by the way. Poison Fang goes through, Dugong is able to eat it pretty comfortably, and we get a Graveler, which is actually great here because that gives us a win condition. Because I can get to a Water Pulse. I overcharge on purpose here though, so I overcharge just a little bit because you don't want to get smacked by that. You don't want to get smacked by the Shadow Nidoqueen. You want to be at least ahead of energy, so this is just really, really good and great energy management because Nidoqueen wins CMP. You don't want to get locked into that scenario. As you see here, I'm able to make it so that I should be able to get to an Icy Wind, and that's game. Even if I don't, they still have to Poison Fang me down, and they will lose all their energy, so my Nidoqueen in the back can get to Earth Quiet, and that's GG's. I just super finesse my opponent. I send in my freaking Nidoqueen. This is definitely a Poison Fang. This will not kill. However, I have a Poison Fang queued, and then I should be able to fire it, and that's GG's. This was just me being really, really fancy. You could play it either way, but yeah, this was just me being ultra fancy. You don't have to be this fancy. You can play it the other two ways around, or you can do this. So that's 3 ways you can play the Hypno matchup. Congrats losing lead, but this ABB team is still able to come back and come out with a W. Seriously, that was pretty... I don't even know I did half of the stuff I did there. I was just like, wow, that actually worked out. You know, the key to being a freaking amazing PvP player in Pokemon Go PvP is to be really creative. Now that could also work against you because of the fact that game lags. It just doesn't work 100% of the time. It's like it's like that computer at work where you're trying to get stuff done, but it just doesn't work. Next, we got Charizard on a Nidoqueen. So this is actually really neat. Nidoqueen versus Charizard is pretty hard win on your side just because of the fact that you can get the Poison Fang so quickly. My opponent decides to eat it and I'm like, wait, why? So I'm just gathering energy here and then I'm going to swap out. The reason being is because this is a Hex Marowak, and with Pidgeot walls Marowak unless they have Fire Blast. So I'm going to shield because most people are running Hex Fire Blast. If you're running Hex, 9 times out of 10 you are running Fire Blast as well, and we do get the Fire Blast. Shield the Fire Blast and then Fire Feather Dance. That's usually what you do, what I'll do in this scenario. Make sure you shield the Fire Blast comfortably because that's literally your only win condition. If you have locked into a Alolan Marowak, you can get the second one after to -2. And usually they don't get to it after this. And as you see, we're just going to able to farm down. We get a Ninetales after. I'm like, oh, okay. So then we get a Ninetales. I'm going to fire Feather Dance. And then this should lower that charm damage. We already know we got a freaking Charizard and a Ninetales. My opponent is not shielding, and it's kind of strange. Why? Considering you're in the closing scenario and you don't know what my back row mon is. So as you see, they're going to fire, and I'm not even going to shield. We're going to leave our opponent with 2 shields. We're going to leave our opponent just wondering, why the heck did you not shield? And I'm just going to 2-shield flex on them. Because they're already so hurt that there's no reason for me to fire a move. I shield this one, I farm your freaking Alolan Ninetales down, and that's GG's. Absolutely heavy damage. Had my opponent shielded some other moves, they might have had a win condition, but in this case, they shielded nothing. So that's GG's. GG's, I hope you enjoyed the battle. This is the most powerful ABB team in the Kanto Cup for Season 11. And again, I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. And that's GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. As you see, this Ice Water Tank team is very, very strong. And if you're very fancy, you can come out with a lot of win conditions. If you do happen to see the fire in the back, I would say what you should do is try to break a shield, come out with shield advantage, and farm it down with Nidoqueen. Farm it down with Nidoqueen, and then pray that Dugong or Lapras in the back can come out with a W because you're really behind anyways. Shadow Nidoqueen can eat Cross Chops and Rock Slides pretty comfortably, so even though it punches you to death or you dump a bunch of rocks on it, guess what? That throw the kitchen sink, Nidoqueen should be able to farm down Machamp with whatever's left, and after you do that, hopefully like triple Poison Fang or some fanciness, you can come out with a W, but that's the only way you really win with the fighter, if you see the fighter in the back rather than the lead. Or you just outright win switch, and then, alright, no. Well, you got the fire locked into you already, so then again, just have it punch your water tank, try to break a shield, and then after that, send in Nidoqueen, farm it down, throw all that energy in the back, and hopefully you will have a win condition with Lapras or Dugong in the back. Because you're going to give, Nidoqueen is going to likely get blasted off, and it's going to blast off again, and then your, whatever you switched into, Lapras, whether it be Dugong, will be punched down by that Machamp or whatever fighter. So again, you see the fighter, switch in, save switch in, let it go, break a shield, let it go with shield advantage, send in Nidoqueen, farm down, hopefully Nidoqueen can get a bunch of energy, throw it all in the back row, whatever your Lapras or your Dugong in the back with shield can come out with a W. That's the only way I found that you win a fighter. I would have showcased it on this one, but I already I already recorded everything before, so like, and I didn't record that battle, so yeah, that's a way you can win. It's already rough if you get the fighter back, but again, that's a way you can win. But do me a huge favor, please like, subscribe. Subscribing is totally free. All you have to do is like put your mouse on the bottom right there. Also, comment for the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate y'all. I will get back to you if you do put something like an appreciate you or something like that. I really do appreciate it. And again, I do get back to you. I do comment below for y'all. Also, I'm looking to get into other games, etc. So we'll see about that. But I'm trying to broaden my horizon other than Pokemon Go PvP because yeah, it's Pokemon Go PvP. It's what it is. But I do appreciate y'all. I really, really do appreciate you. I also stream on Twitch Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 6:30, 7:30 a.m. p.m. I usually do PCG Pokemon community game on there, or if you do battles, you can redeem points so that you could force me to battle. I won't really battle until the next interlude season, or we're gonna see where I stand as far as content creation on Twitch. Usually I use Twitch to do things differently rather than Pokemon Go because I already do enough Pokemon Go on my YouTube channel. So, yes. But I hope y'all have an amazing day. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see y'all in the next video.